Hello and welcome to the Wake Up Podcast. I am your host, Ben Cason, here with a very special guest, Brigida Oden. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much for coming on. You've got some interesting stuff to talk about.
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do. We were talking about it before we started. Yeah, let's just kind of get right into it. So, Brigida, what do you do?
I am a chef.
Okay.
So a lot of people will call themselves a cook, but I definitely have the confidence in myself now to actually call myself a chef. So,
Okay.
yes.
I like that. What's the difference between a chef and a cook, do you feel like?
To me, I feel like it's all about your confidence and a little bit of your experience in a way too, but how you show yourself and how you prove yourself to other people in the kitchen too. So
sweet. Well, that's fantastic. Like I was saying to you before, I love talking about food. So this is going to be a great podcast because I love talking about food. I'm going to get hungry talking to you about your stuff. Yeah. So let's just kind of get on to it first. What got you into cooking? Why is that a passion of yours?
So first got me into cooking was my grandmother. She was an amazing baker and amazing cook.
Okay.
So as I was a little girl, I watched her cook in her kitchen, and then I would play on the floor with like her measuring spoons and everything.
Yeah.
I would stand on a step stool and watch her, do everything.
Yeah.
So at first it was her. Then I graduated high school and I went to culinary school, and I was like, I'm going to do this because I love the fact like people would always be so happy about my grandma's food and they would always want it. And so I was like, I want to do that for people. So I went to culinary school, and then in my first year, I lost my grandmother. So it was hard for me to continue to do it, but I wanted to do it for her in a way. And then I eventually did fall in love with it. So now it's everything for me. It's my passion. It's my career. And I don't see myself doing anything else. So
that's fantastic. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it's something that you're very good at talking to him. I mean, it sounds like something that you've cooked a lot. I mean, we were talking before, you have a lot of experience cooking in a lot of different places. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes. So when in high school, I did go on a trip to China and seeing like the different foods there compared to how Chinese food is here. It was very interesting, and the flavors of it. I came back from China and I didn't eat Chinese food for like 2 years, which it's the funny fact, but
what was the difference there? Yeah.
I don't even know how to explain it. It was just a lot. It was normal for them to serve like a whole fish head on the table and you just like have to eat it like that, or moving like noodles and chicken feet just hanging from the markets, and it was just really different. It was really cool. Like I loved the experience, but seeing that and then coming back here is just completely different. So
sure.
But I went there, and then after that I went and did an internship in Mexico at a resort. So I was there for almost 6 months, and I got to do some cooking in the kitchen. They had like 13 different restaurants on the resort. So unfortunately I only got to work at like 4, but that's a lot to have to, try to work in. So I got some experience in the kitchen, and I also got some bartending experience and some serving experience as well. So that was really cool. And I just kept like getting my foot in the door more and more, which I like loved about it. Every place I went, I did something new. So
what type of dishes were you like creating at that place?
So the one restaurant that I was mainly in was the main kitchen. So every night was a different theme or a different thing. So we had like Japanese, so we had sushi and all of that. Then we had Americanized. So I was like really good at that night because, like who can get burgers and fries wrong?
Hey, there you go.
And then we did like Italian food. So we did the pastas, and it was really cool because we got to get like the really big wheel of Parmesan and like get the noodles and then put them in the actual wheel of the cheese. So that was really cool.
So you put the noodles in the wheel of the cheese?
Yeah. So like they dig out a little bit, or not even. Sometimes like when it's like fresh, you just put it right on top, and the noodles are so hot that it melts the cheese, and that's your sauce.
Whoa.
So it was really cool. Like it was amazing. And now I see like videos on stuff like that on like YouTube. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, I actually did that. Like it's really cool. So after Mexico, what did I do? I came back home for a little bit. And then I went to Vancouver. That's where I went. Okay. And I went to finish, because I didn't finish college at PCC, unfortunately. But I did go to Vancouver, and I went to culinary school out there. I was almost there for a year. Nice. And as I was there, I got to help open up a seafood, like not Americanized, but it was called Wildfin American Grill. Okay. So we had seafood, we had salads and steaks, all kinds of stuff. So it was really cool. I got to help open that. It was an intense interview. I had to go through a whole week intense interview.
To get that job?
Yes. There was like 100 plus people in the kitchen at one time trying to just get the job.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was crazy. Chefs from all the other different locations for that restaurant were there, and they would walk around and check your cuts with rulers, and it was just crazy.
Oh, that's pressure.
So it was pressure. And every day we would get there and there would just be another 10 people gone. And then another day, more and more people were gone because they just couldn't handle it.
Oh, so they were like, it was like you had everyone there, and then every day they were cutting people.
Yeah. Or they just didn't come back.
Oh, no, they just didn't want to deal with it anymore.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which was crazy because I'm like, dude, this is an amazing job. Like, why would you not want to be here,
Yeah.
So it was crazy, and watching people just not come back, or people that I felt intimidated by not coming back. And they, like, in the end, they felt intimidated by me. And I'm like, me?
Love that.
So that helped me start the building of my confidence, knowing that, like, all these other people that have more experience than me, I'm beating them in a way. And I don't want to look at it as a competition, because I'm not that type of person to, like, compete with anybody.
Yeah.
In culinary, but sometimes you have to be like that, because if you're not, then you're just going to be pushed away and be like, oh, okay, well, she's not fit for this.
That sounds like the premise of like a TV show, honestly, from what you're saying. That's funny. Like they just get a whole bunch of people in there, and then every day it's just harsh, and people just drop. So did you end up making it, like, were you the top of that group then?
Yeah, I was. Actually.
Wow. Congratulations.
I was one of the only females on the line. So
wow.
At first there was 2, and then she eventually left. So I was the only one. And then I moved my way up. I started on salads. And that's where you normally start, especially if, like, the chefs really don't know you that well. A lot of the people that were there live in Vancouver, and them knowing that I was, from Colorado, like, I had to prove myself.
Yeah.
So I definitely did. I started off on what we call it garmo, which is salads. I was salads, fry, and dessert.
Okay.
And then I was on that for a couple months. And they had this system to where if you improved with every month, they would sit down with you, talk about, like, what they thought that you needed to improve on.
Okay.
And then they would rate you, okay, you need to work on this, or you need to do that. And the more you got up, the higher that you would get to a blue hat. So you would start off as a black hat, and then you'd go blue hat, red hat, and then just like a chef coat.
Okay, gotcha.
So I made it to a blue hat, but then unfortunately I left there. But so I started on garmo, then I went to saute, which is an intense station. They had, I think it was like 10, maybe 8 or 10 burners that you had to have going constantly at one time. So that was crazy.
And then how long did those shifts run whenever you're out there?
Oh, sometimes 12, 13 hours. Yeah.
That's
sometimes
nuts.
I wouldn't get off until like 2 o'clock in the morning, because the way that we would clean the kitchen was just spotless. Like, it was a brand new kitchen, so we wanted to keep it that way.
Yeah.
So every night before we left, we made sure that everything was spotless. We had our checklists and yeah. So, but I left there because I thought at the time that it was a really good idea to go and work on a cruise ship.
Okay.
And all my chefs at that restaurant were like, Bree, no, please, like, stay here. You'll do so much better here instead of a cruise ship. And I didn't listen. I always
sounds like an adventure, though, going on a cruise ship. Yeah.
It is. It was.
Yeah.
But I should have listened to them. But anyway, I did go to Hawaii. So before I got there, it took a couple months of just the whole, like, training process that you have to go to. They send you to Baltimore, Maryland for a week to do, like, firefighting training and crowd control training, swimming training, like, all this stuff that I had to do. And it was really cool. I got all that experience, and I have those certificates now. I even have, like, CPR and everything.
Oh, nice.
So,
okay.
Yeah. And then you have to get a TWIC card, which is like a little card that looks like a passport in a way. But you have to get that for you to be able to be on and off the ship at all times. What else? So, yeah, when I finally got to go to Hawaii, they bought my plane ticket. I got there. Walking up to the ship, I was like, oh, my goodness, like, it's huge, it was like 13 floors. And I was like, I'm really gonna, like, live and work on this ship right now. Like, it was crazy to think about. And I was gonna be in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, not be able to talk to my family. And I was like, but I'm gonna do this. So I walk on the ship, and the cabin you live in is definitely something not how you live at home, in a room. But we had a little cabin. And it's a funny story that my roommate from Vancouver in college, she applied for the ship at the same time as me. Well, we all kind of did, but we were all like on different paths. Well, she was on the ship before us. And I get to my cabin and my other roommate's in there. And she's just like, our other roommate's really cool. Her name is Maya. And I'm just like, Maya? And she's like, yeah, why? And I was like, that's my roommate from college. Like, are you serious right now? And we had no idea. Like,
what are the chances of that?
Right? Like, we didn't ask for it. Like, it kind of just happened. So it was really cool. And then I waited for her to get off her shift. And she comes in the room and I was hiding. She's like, is our new roommate here yet? And I like pop out. She's like, oh my gosh. She just like scream my name. She's like, Bree. And it was so cool. Like,
that is so cool.
And it made it more comfortable for me because
sure.
I mean, going on a huge ship that has like over 2,000 employees plus like 2,500 passengers, like it's intense to like think about, you know?
Yeah.
But knowing that I had one person that I knew out of all of those people and actually being able to live with her in the same cabin was really cool. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But there, we got to travel 7 different islands. We went to Honolulu and Maui and Kona and all these places. So it was really cool. If we reported and you had a break, you can get off the ship, but you only had a 2-hour break.
Gotcha.
So you had to like make sure that you timed everything out right.
So you didn't want to miss the ship.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
You did. Well, the ship wouldn't leave, but if you were late on your shift, you would get in so much trouble. So I remember this one time, me and Maya went to Honolulu. Well, we were in Honolulu. We went to it's like I think it's like the 1 or 2nd biggest, largest mall or something like that outside. Something like that.
Okay.
It's huge. So we're like, we could walk around a little bit, and we got lost track of time. Like by the time we looked at the clock, we were just chilling, eating lunch. And then I'm like, oh my God, we need to go. Like, we need to go. So we get in the taxi, the Uber, whatever. And the traffic was backed up.
Of
like,
course it was.
It was so, I was like, we're going to lose our job. No, freaking we just wanted to go to the mall, you know?
Yeah.
And we finally got back on the ship, and our chef didn't even notice. And I'm just like, okay.
Nice.
We're not even going to say
You're like,
nothing.
we're back in time.
I'm not even going to say nothing. So, yeah, they never found out. We were pretty late, though.
Nice. All right.
We had a good time.
Hey, there you go.
But Hawaii was cool. I was there maybe almost 2 months. I wasn't there very long, unfortunately, just because I had to come home.
Yeah.
But it was an experience. So.
That does sound like an experience. Yeah, man. Working on a cruise ship. How is there any specific struggles like cooking on a cruise ship compared to like cooking in a brick and mortar location?
Oh yeah, the ship moves. Like it was definitely different to get used to because when we're standing in the kitchen, you have to like make sure that you hold on to
brace
everything.
yourself.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't move like crazy, but you can definitely feel it. I remember one time I put a pan on the counter of mac and cheese and I went and put the other pot in the dish pit, and then I came back and my chef's like, Bree, are you mad? I was like, no, chef, why? He's like, because you dropped your mac and cheese on the floor. And I'm like, no. And it was because we were moving and the mac and cheese just slid off the damn counter. So it was different. I get really seasick or motion sickness. So the first 2-3 weeks, it was hard, especially like trying to sleep because we're on like the lower level. You could feel everything down there.
Sure.
So that's the only struggle that I had. And then
But then that went away after that 2-3 weeks. That's good.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, I'm on a ship. Like, cool. So yeah.
Cool.
It was cool.
That's fantastic. So we were talking a little bit before. You're originally from Pueblo, like you said. You went to PCC. Yes. Now you go on all these adventures. You go Vancouver, you go cruise ship, you go Mexico. And then now you're back in Pueblo. Can you take me through what that was like? It
was hard, honestly. I didn't live with my parents for almost 5 years because I was on the go, or I lived with roommates, or I was always doing something.
Sure.
So coming back home, it was really hard for me to have to ask my parents to move back in, especially because I've just been, by myself.
Sure.
I've been living by myself, or I had those roommates in college. When I lived in Springs, I was by myself. So that was hard. And then now having to stay in one place, not being able to travel is really hard too.
Sure.
So, because I'm a travel bug. Like, I don't care if I only have like $200 in my bank account. Like, I'm going somewhere. Like,
that's all the same kind of way. It's
and I might struggle, but every place that I've been to, I have done that. Like, I've done it like that, and I don't regret doing it like that. So now the hardest part for me is just living at home. And I love my parents and I love my brother, living with them. It's just it's hard to get used to that again.
Absolutely. That makes sense.
So yeah, and I love Pueblo. It's just different going and traveling different places and meeting so many people, and then coming back home and you're like, oh, it's Pueblo.
Oh, it's Pueblo.
Like
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's an amazing town, and everybody's here is awesome, and the culture here is amazing. But I just love traveling.
Sure. That makes sense. Yeah, you've just got that itch still. That makes sense.
I don't think it'll ever go away.
I don't think it will either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so run me through kind of some of the things that you do here in Pueblo. So you mentioned that you like do catering. You do some stuff. Yeah. Just run me through what kind of stuff you're doing now.
So about a year ago, for the longest time, I wanted to do my own thing. I really didn't want to work for anybody else again because it's just, I just want to be my own boss. Who doesn't?
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I started my little, I became official LLC. I came up with my name, whatever you pick.
Okay.
And from there, at the beginning, I was just, trying to do little caterings here and there. I was doing cakes and stuff like that. And then one day, I told my mom, I was like, I want to make these tacos. And she's just like, okay, make them. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
So I made them at home, and my dad's not that type of person to eat that kind of stuff. So he was just like, I don't like them. But my mom and my brother were like, these are amazing. And then, of course, I posted them on Snapchat. I post all my food on Snapchat. And people are like, what are those? Like, can I buy those? Like, can you make me some? And I'm like, The more and more of the people that asked, I was like, what if I sold them?
Yeah.
So I rented out this little kitchen in Bessemer. And one day on a Tuesday, I was just like, hey guys, I'm selling these tacos from this time to this time. Come try them out,
Yeah.
And the first day I sold, I think I almost sold 100 tacos.
Wow.
And I was just like, okay, like.
You're like, it's a big deal.
Yeah, like I was going crazy over selling that many, 100. That's not too many,
That's a lot though.
It is, yeah.
That's a lot.
So I set myself that goal, like, okay, every Tuesday I want to go higher and higher. So the next Tuesday, I think I sold like 300. Then the next Tuesday, I sold like 500.
All right.
And it just kept going up until I finally hit over 1,000 tacos in one day.
All right.
And yeah, it was hard work. I was tired. I was in the same spot for hours, but just doing tacos. But it was an amazing feeling. Sometimes people were waiting outside for like an hour, and I felt so bad. But it was because I had this like little tiny flat top trying to cook. Like,
sure, it's one person making tacos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And at the beginning, I didn't have a system. I was just like letting people order whatever they wanted. So people would come in and want to order like 42 tacos, and some people wanted 2, but then the 42, it was just hard to do.
Sure.
So I definitely developed a system, and then I finally, started being better, and then people were like posting on social media and hey, you guys have to try these tacos, and everybody's like, well, where at? And then the more people that found out, the more people that started to come, and then like by the time I knew it, everybody knew who I was because of these tacos.
Yeah. So
it was really cool. It was crazy. And then eventually I left that place just because it wasn't health code, what's it called? Like up to date. So I didn't want to like risk anything. I was being safe, of course. I know all the regulations and stuff.
Sure, but just the location that you were renting out was,
So then I had this opportunity to go rent this other kitchen, and there it was just booming, like busy from, I opened at 12 to, I wanted to be open from 12 to 8, but I would sell out by like 5:30 or 6 every time I did it. So it was crazy. It was really cool. And people just kept coming back. And then I started having regulars, and then more people. And then sadly, it's sad to go, like, to look back at how good I was doing. And then now I don't even have that much business, which is sad. But it has a lot of it has to do with COVID.
Sure.
I know. But yeah, so that was awesome. So then I started doing those, and then people wanted me more for caterings. Started doing caterings for those tacos. More cakes, more all kinds of stuff. I have a Facebook page, and I continue to get followings on there.
Great.
I'm like almost to 3,000, so it was really cool.
Wow.
To go from like, I remember when I first started the page, and I had like 20 followers, and I was like, oh my gosh, like people actually want to see what I'm doing,
Yeah.
And then I remember like every time I'd hit like 1,000, I would send pictures to my friend Gabi, like, look at this, like I hit 1,000.
You're building something.
Like, and it's cool because on that page, it shows us like how many people like engage, or how many people actually like took the time to look at it, and it's just like 1,000 people looked at this post. Like, it's just,
Sure.
it's really cool to see it happening. That's what I've always wanted. I've always just wanted to give people good food, and that's what I'm trying to do. So
yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah. Well, obviously, this very well. Obviously, COVID's making it very tough for restaurants, but it sounds to me like you're making some amazing headway.
I'm trying.
And COVID won't last forever. You'll be back.
Yeah,
You'll be back full strength.
Definitely.
So if somebody wants to, someone like me actually listening to you, I want to go try your tacos. So like, how would I do that? Where would I go?
So right now, these last couple weekends, I haven't done the pop-ups just because I haven't made too much money, and it's kind of hard. So you can follow me on my personal Facebook.
Okay.
My name is Brigida Oden on there.
Okay.
Or my business page is Whatever You Pick by Chef and Brie.
Okay.
So you can go on there and follow me on there too. And I post updates all the time.
Perfect. And that sounds, Whatever You Pick. That sounds good. Awesome. I'll have to check that out. Yep. Thank you so much, Brigida. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like doing some amazing stuff. That's a lot of hype about those tacos. You're getting me hungry over here.
Oh my goodness. They're awesome. They're amazing. I mean, I do. It's crazy to me to like see that people go crazy over tacos,
Oh yeah, people go crazy over tacos. I'm someone who would go crazy over tacos.
It's just different to see it. But yeah, I have, and now I see a lot of other people making them, and I'm like, okay, yeah, go ahead, they're amazing, sell them, do whatever, but mine are the best. No, I'm just kidding.
Nice.
But yeah, no, it was an awesome journey so far.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, thank you, Brigida, for coming in. I appreciate it. Yeah, keep your eye out for Brigida Oden. I mean, Chef Brigida Oden, talking to you here, doing some amazing stuff. She's on the way up. Sounds like, building a lot of headway. So make sure you check that out. Again, that's Whatever You Pick, the Facebook page, as well as you can find her on her own special page, Brigida Oden, right there. Correct. Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for listening. This has been the Wake Up Podcast. Go check out the rest of our free podcasts we've done for businesses. We've been getting those out 2 a week. So go check those out, as well as check out our Wake Up Wednesday podcast, where we get people from here at work to come in and talk about what they're going on. As well as, check out our sports podcast. We got a lot going on in terms of podcasting here at Wake Up, and we got a lot going on here with these guys. So thank you so much for coming in. Have a great rest of your day, you guys.